so I figured everybody would sit up.
Okay, here we go.
Just kind of pull them apart like on top of each other.
Okay, I think so. I just need my piece of foam. You're just gonna take a 2mm piece of foam, like same thing, 2mm, but cocoa or cinnamon. And you're gonna cut it. You're just gonna cut it about the length of that gap. That's a good gauge, just the width of the gap, or the gape, whatever. All right, so here we go. Yeah. So actually, what I do on this fly, you can do it now or you can do it later. I actually put the front antennas on usually first, right off the bat. They don't really get in your way, but if it bugs you, wait till mid-step. But I build a little hump. So all you do is build a little hump right at the front, and all that's going to do is divide these little fine rubber legs. And you can go both ways. You can actually just come underneath like that, or you can just go right on top. I prefer on top because I like to angle it. And the little rubber legs, they're not bad to work with, but they have a mind of their own sometimes. So you just go like that on an angle, just light thread wraps, and then all you're gonna do is fold that guy back on himself, just like that, and kind of tweak it. And I'm gonna actually just cut that, and you want them flayed like that, and you want them that long. That's what makes this fly so cool. When it sits on the water, those legs just go, they move. And I do it on my caddis all the time on the longhorns, like this. Yeah. Anyway, so, and it's all thread pressure. If I go here now, because we're gonna take foam all the way to the head, you got to be delicate with your wraps. Because if I crank, I'm gonna move these, right? So you kind of get them in position. Those are fine. I'm gonna go back now. So now we're gonna do the same thing on the back. And you can fix these. There's ways to fix them later. But you can omit that till closer to the end. You don't have to do it right now. All right. So the dubbing, to me, is critical. The plain Antron works fine, but I like to put some natural in it and kind of make it buggier. Where's my dub? Right here. But this good old ginger Antron stuff is just wicked, and when it's wet, it looks so cool. But you want some natural with it to kind of break it up. So I just like Kaufman's Stone, or just a golden brown, or just some rabbit. But you'll see it, you know, it's one of the few flies I've had someone pick it up and go, holy shit, have you seen this wet? Like, yeah, you know, it looks cool. It just looks, it's got all those colors in it, and it fishes really well. It's, you know, to me, dubbings are key. So you just need a fair amount. Kind of hand mix it real quick with the natural. And I'm just gonna put a little dub on the back for my tail. Because same thing, we're gonna do a little rubber tail on the back. But I always add a little red dub, because most stones bleed out through their butt, you know, and that little, it's always redder. But this dubbing, for some reason, just, it has that in it. I mean, you don't really need to do it at all. So we're just gonna do a little ball right at the back. And all that is a little dubbing for this back rubber to bite into, because you wanted a little splayed, a little more different. Rubber legs, any idea? So sometimes I go thicker. Like, this is so thin that you can go thicker on your back. You can go like a small, that's not a problem, and in a darker color. But well, we all got small, right? Except for me. There it is. Stuff hides. All right, so same thing. All we're gonna do is lay this on a side, just like a Prince or whatever, but it's gonna move a little bit. And it's always light thread pressure. Just kind of go kind of light like this. Miss the hook like that, and just lightly over the dub, so that butt just sticks out like that. And we're gonna fold it again. That way, if it's pulled out, not a problem. You know what I mean? Because you know, if you can ever fold stuff on itself, do it. Just like that. And then there's the little tail. And I'm just gonna grab, where's my good scissors? Anyway, just kind of go in here now and even them up. These back ones are gonna be shorter. Like that. And you can fix that pressure. Like, that guy's a little too far out. I don't really dig that. I might come in and just put a little pressure on him right there. Bring him in a little bit if I can. And I'm just gonna cover that up with dub anyway, so. Anyone see my good scissors? What the hell? I got me using my foam cutters. There they are. Those are them. Yeah, those ones. That's right. All right, so here we go. This is the fun part. This is where it gets cool. So, I didn't really get all my stuff ready for this, Dave. I'm sorry. It's okay. So all I need is the orange legs will come in handy here in a second. Anybody know
Legs right here.
Are they hiding? Gosh, dang it, there they are. Okay.
Hey, rotate that.
What's this
so you
now?
can see that.
Okay, so now you have your foam.
Rotate the vise so you can see top.
Rotate the vise.
Yeah, so we see it from top. There you go. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So here's our foam, and usually I'll cut it later, but all you do is take your crappy scissors, and I do kind of an angle, just an angle cut on the, so it's kind of got like a stone wing, you know, just slightly. And if you don't want to get around your legs and cut them later, you can do this. But usually I'm too long and I'm going to recut it anyway, right? But we use the same dub. We're just going to dub this body, and I usually start about there. Same thing. We're just going to dub it on there a little thicker, and we're going to go back forward, right? And a little thicker because this stuff's going to bite into itself, and it's a stone, so it's got a little chunk to it. But it's a littler stone. This is like a little Sally or a little golden. But you're going to start right there, and you're just going to work it back, nice and light. You know, that light, not really roped dubbing, but light, so it bites into itself. And keep it tight, like that. And then if it ever comes undone, I'm just going to go kind of slightly over that back. And the buggier the better. And you can see how that's just that wicked kind of orange-red, how stones bleed color. And I didn't put much to coarse it up, so it's not really critical. Okay, so now your Z-Long comes into play. And that's why I like the yellow thread, because if you mess up, it's awesome because it's like that light yellow Sally color. So here's our Z-Long. And I've mixed it up. I kind of wet it. Kind of kink it out if it's a little thick, but all you can do is tie it on like a spent wing. You're going to tie it on just like this, right on top, kind of a little off to the side, but just barely. And then you're just going to bring it up here and you're going to fold it back on itself, just like that. And for now, we're going to leave it a little long, and then we're going to take our foam and we're going to go right over that. Now, I mean, we can cut that wing right now because it's going to kind of, ooh, my body turned? What happened? My tail's all wigged out. Okay. Now, it's going to be, you know, a wing's probably like a little gape distance off the back. So, but this stuff stretches. So if you pull it tight, air long, don't do it short, and about right here. And that's actually more than I'd like. I'd like that wing thinner. That's a little thick, but it's no big deal. So now we're just going to lay the foam down. Just going to lay this foam right over this, like that, about halfway between that tail and the back. You want it hanging off. Equidistance, kind of cup it like that, kind of go loose wrap, just kind of loose, come forward a little bit, bite. I always lift and grab the shank. I like to adhere it, and then I'm going to sneak that back, like that, kind of clean it up, bite it, go underneath, grab it, bite it. And what's really kind of cool, that wing is way too much under there, I hate that, but a little thinner would be great. So what it's going to do is that's going to compress later, and then this wing's going to be like a little spent wing. So there we are. Now we're going to do the elk hair. Thin sparkle done hair is typically what I use. Just a good thin hair. Stacker.
Right here.
Oh, perfect. Got it. So just some thin hair like you'd use on a sparkle done. You don't want like big coarse hair. You want thin deer hair or something, just like a X-Caddis sparkle done. Perfect. And we're going to do a thin wing of elk. And when we push it back, it's going to splay as well. So it's kind of like a spent wing out kind of fly, but it floats like a cork. So we're just going to take a little wing. It's going to haunt me, Dave, that heavy Z-Long underneath there.
I can tell.
It's already bugging me.
It's already a problem.
Yeah, but not really, but it is. We can thin it. All right, so just stack a little bit, just a little pinch like you do on like a size 18 sparkle, not a ton. Whoops. I think I left hair in there. I think I didn't finish a stack at some point. That's kind of funny. All right, so you just stack a little bit, and you're gonna do this actually shorter. You're not gonna take it all the way to the back. You're just gonna put a pinch right here, about equal distance, a little shorter than that actual wing, okay? And we're gonna pop that on there. Just a nice little kind of a loose. And then we're gonna flare it kind of hard. We're just gonna go through that stuff and grab it because we're gonna clean it up and we're gonna cover it anyway. And I'm sliding. Okay, can everyone see that all right? So it's just that. If it moves on you like mine's doing, and I just kind of, a lot of times I just go down between like that, and we're just gonna get rid of this stuff. We're just gonna make a mess and just get all that stuff kind of out of there real fast. And this is why you can omit putting this at the front, because you could cut them right now. But you could, in fact, tie them on right now, you know what I mean? Before we bind this down. But I like to get them out of the way. What the heck? See, I could cut my antenna right now. Okay, cool. So now, okay. All you're gonna do is go up and bind that a little bit. So it doesn't, you know, you're just folding it on itself. I'm not tying this really clean, but I haven't tied one in a while. So now, lift up, sneak up a little bit, and then you're gonna grab a little more of that foam, and we're gonna make a little bullet head with the foam. And we're just gonna bind that down, but we don't want it, and you can always pull back to see where these legs are, you know what I mean? You don't wanna go too far, but you can see where they're at. So I'm gonna go forward a little bit, and right behind here, and I'm gonna grab a little more of that foam. And now, the front is actually light yellow UV ice dub. And I like a little bit, not a lot, and that's why I like the yellow thread, because I like it to bleed through like it's a Pell thorax, almost just a really light yellow. And then we'll have a band of yellow as well. So here we go. Where is my yellow ice dub? This seemed like a good spot, didn't it?
You want some?
Yeah, sure. I should be able to find one eventually.
Here you go.
All right, perfect. That's all you need. Yep, a little light yellow. And hardly any. I mean, you're just gonna put a little bit on there, and you just like to let the thread bleed through. The other thread I like is like a rusty brown, because it bleeds through kind of nice for a darker stone in that variety. Rusty brown thread's actually awesome. I use that sometimes. Certain canyons you go in and the stones are like 4 different colors. There's dark ones, light ones. Tan's great. So come up here right behind the eye, and all we're doing is building a little thorax, and it's more of a ball towards the front. We want to leave a little bit of a space where we're going to build up threads, so you can bring it back a little bit more to the front like that. And we're going to leave our thread right here, okay? Now we're just going to take this baby back. If everything worked out right, we're just going to pull it down nice and tight, put a wrap on it. Nice bullet head. Whoops, my legs aren't doing what they want. Kind of bind it tight, kind of like we did before, but not too crazy tight. Whoops, getting some hair as well. Let's get my legs. And you can create memory like that. That's not a bad thing. Like, get some memory in it before you do it instead of just crank it. Now bad scissors again. And we're gonna cut this kind of short, but not too short, about the length of the bullet head, about right there. And what that does is it flays that whole wing out. See how it just spread it out? Now it's like a spent, and it's gonna give it good balance. And then I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna clip these. I don't want it that much. So I'm gonna clip some of these, clean it up. And my antenna, I bind my antenna and nobody told me. Holy crap.
Didn't quite catch it. Thought maybe.
Yeah, no, I caught it. So we're gonna grab the antenna and bring it back out. Good heavens.
It's a little hard to see.
Yeah, no, I didn't even see that. I'm focused so much on my wing, but see how that's spread out?
Yeah.
And it's like a spent stone. And so what you do is, typically I try to keep those antrons more on the back so I can just tease them out slightly so you get a contrast between the wing. But there's no problem there. And then this is it. We're almost done. It's not that bad. It actually ties nice. Once you do it a few times, it ties really clean. So see how that you can get that yellow? See that yellow? Oh, I got hair under there. Wow. You guys seeing all this?
Every bit of it in high definition.
Oh shit. I'm in trouble. I'm tying like a amateur. All right, here we go. Okay, there you go. So you can just clean these up. I usually go in every time and clean that up anyway like that. Get rid of some of these off the side. Okay, is that looking better? A little bit?
That'll fish.
Yeah, and it lands right. That's why we're using the nymph hook, because every time you put it, if you land it this way, it's going to turn over. It'll turn over right every time. So all we're going to do is put the legs on for the good imprint. So the orange legs off the side, and we'll do a little cider. Boy, I hacked that one. My next one will be better. So I like to take this top piece, and I actually will angle these two top things, because I find it's a little more aerodynamic without that flat thing in the wind. So I actually cut that top thing like that. And we're almost done. This is the one I was gonna tie last night just so I could warm up, because okay.
Hey.
Look okay, Dave, or am I kidding myself? Okay. Now all we're gonna do is do two legs out the side right in that little spot. And that's good for balance, and fish dig it. And you can leave them as long as you want or whatever. Basically just gonna go right on top like that, go right between that little space and tie the legs on. And then I just kind of ease them down until they're underneath. If you put a little pressure there, you can bring it in. And then we'll clip them and they should be about right. Yeah, you can go thicker on your legs on the back. And sometimes I leave these really long, but I like my front ones a little shorter. Like that. But it's just a great little floating dude. You can do them little and big. If I'm warmed up, I can do these in 20s. It's my part-time pirate. It works really good on the little stones, like on Fish Creek, those little teeny sallies. And all you do is put the legs in on that good old imprint. That's the best imprint. That little cross. You're just tying them in. If you know, rubber legs are awesome, because if you want them to stick out more, you just put more pressure that way. You know, if you want them to come in like that, so you can just toy with them until you get them right where you want them. If you want it to go down that way, come inside the leg. That's why I like the thin wire. See that? I just pulled that out. So depending on where you want them, get them set where you want them and do some wraps. There's Dave's ring. It's a beaut. Anyway, my front antennas aren't where I'd like them. I didn't go as much as I could, but they're okay. Now you're gonna clip this guy, kind of even up your legs, and you can keep them as long as you want. It's really just a good imprint and a good balance thing. And then all you do is take a little orange foam. This will actually set it down a little better too. And you can go 2 millimeter, whatever. Whoa, what do I got going on? Do I got something on that side? That I should look up at the screen. What's this weird thing? That shows up really good. So you just cut a little piece, and this will lay it down a little bit. It's just your cider, so you can see it a little better because it sits low in the water. You're just gonna put it right on top, right up here, right on top. You're just gonna go right through the heart and kind of crank that down and not get your legs. Like that. And you're gonna clip this front one really short and leave that about right there. And then you just whip finish it. Put a whip on it and you're done.
It doesn't make it top heavy?
Oh heavens no. That's why we're using that big nymph hook underneath. It's gonna kill it right every time. When you throw it, you could land it upside down and it will land right every time. And this truly is unsinkable. It floats like crazy. And if you look how cool the bottom is, if you didn't overdo your Zelon wing and goof it all up, the bottom's really cool. You get that contrast. So you get that bleedy in the back, and then you get that cool yellow in the front. And I got to get rid of that. Look, oh, that's my antenna. I can't cut that.
Don't cut that.
Yeah, that's my antenna. But usually I like my antennas a little closer, you know, but that's fine. They're gonna lay on the water and jiggle. But that's it. It's actually ties really nice. Now that I'm warmed up, I might do a really nice one. But that's the stone, more or less. Cool.